Ooh. Good morning. We are yogaing this morning, and you notice that I don't even have it set up yet. Sorry about that. People here waiting to go, and Debbie's still getting stuff ready. So I don't either, but I do post. It goes live, so. So I know Gilbert and Michelle are downstairs. They may join us. We didn't get a yoga for everybody. Didn't even go. I didn't get to put that on there. Oh well. Yeah, that's fine. We can add more if we need to. Oh, forgot about you. That's okay. You can forget about me anytime. Anything particular you want to work on today? How was it after class? Was it sore? Was it good? Okay. How about balls? You're just so organized. But I think I want to. I know. It's time to start. Good morning, So welcome. So you'll notice that we often put a blanket here. Okay, I like mine not quite so high, but if you kind of struggle to get, it's bright. I think I'm going to have to do one more. The sun is going to come out today. I was thinking maybe it wouldn't. I'll be right back. So, as you can see, it's pretty bright. We will be back. There we go. So we have blinds that come down, and I love the light. You guys know I love the sunshine, but to teach, it's just a bright glare. So good morning. I probably will edit this all out, so you'll just see me all organized here on my yoga. Okay. Oh my goodness. So the dilemma is I get here and get the notices and get set up, and there's a class in here before I get here. So sometimes it's waiting for people. So anyway, I hope you've had a wonderful week. I hope your bodies are feeling great. We may have some people come in a little bit late this morning, and we may not. But we've got one here live, and the rest of you are choosing to do it online. So go ahead and start with your ball, okay, and start kind of rolling through those feet like you love to do. While you're doing that, I wanted to share just a little thought. And sorry, I got a text from another place I teach. They're like, it's locked. What do I do? And I'm like, oh shoot, hang on, I'm gonna have to take this. Hi. Is Lauren not there yet? I know, I am teaching a class right now, but that's okay. Lauren or Eric should be there ASAP. Do you have Lauren? She's on Slack. But, okay. Okay, I think so. Thanks, Mel, sorry. Bye-bye. Oh, best laid plans. So I wanted to share with you a quote. Something's kind of been just rattling around in my brain. And just about being present. I had a pretty significant experience just for me this weekend. My husband went away and I knew he was going and I was fine with that. He was going to spend time with me, but ended up not having time to spend time with me. That makes sense. Anyway, I felt pretty lonely and kind of went down that rabbit hole of nobody. I reached out about 4 or 5 people and nobody could do anything. And I was like, oh my gosh. But then on Saturday, I was studying and ran across some stuff about kind of being present, about feeling the emotion that you're feeling, being okay with being sad and being lonely, and then what can I learn from that and moving forward. This is a quote from Eckhart Tolle. As soon as your habitual state changes from being out of the body and trapped in my mind to being in the body and present in the now, your physical body feels lighter, clearer, more alive. You might think, well, yeah, I still had some loneliness, but all of a sudden I recognized that there was some things I could do without. There was some learning to happen, and I had some significant learning in my study. And so as we practice today, we talk about the breath, and let me tell you, the breath is one of the key things to bring you right here, okay? Go ahead and close your eyes, even though you're working the ball on your foot still. Find that breath that is long and slow. Letting that breath fill your body, and finding the exhale just kind of relaxing, calming. So you're going in and out with your breath, finding that give and that take, finding that ebb and that flow. And then pretty quick, you'll notice your brain starts to wander somewhere else, just pull it back. So the more often we stay within that realm of presentness, of here, of now, not letting our mind wander, we actually can choose how we want to feel and act. Even if we're lonely, we can say, you know what, so I am alone, but I can still use this to my benefit. So as we move today, okay, I really want you to turn in. I do this every time, right? But I want you to turn in and feel. It's okay to be discouraged. It's okay to feel down. It's okay to not like what's happening in your life right now. It's okay to have all of those things. When we let ourselves feel them versus just push them away, and I'm not going to feel, I'm going to use all these numbing techniques, okay? Maybe it's overeating, maybe it's watching, maybe it's just reading, you know, maybe it's game playing, maybe it's whatever, right? But are you using it to benefit yourself, or are you using it to numb so you don't have to feel? The being present requires us to feel. Take a couple more deep breaths. And then go ahead and bow your chin to your chest. Your foot now is holding still. It has been for a while. See if you can breathe, even though their chin is tucked, lift your chest. And then go ahead and bring the chin up and blink open your eyes and good morning. So as we practice, go ahead and if you've got your one foot, fine. If you need to switch to the second foot, do it. We're looking for just sensation. Yeah, and then we've done this before. Nice, Joe's over here doing it. Spread through. You want your toes to come on either side of the ball. So big toe, little toe, and all these three toes up. Now we're gonna roll up and over that. See if you can push into that ball. Those feet, toes are working. And come up and over. You might start to feel a cramp happen underneath the arch of the foot. If that does, then stop. And then go back down. And come back to straddle that ball. These are some actions we stop doing unless we're doing these actions. As littles, we've moved our feet all over the place. As babies, we suck on them and they're just like this. And then as we age, and anything that's gonna get tighter like this, right? Go ahead and come up over again. Anything that does that really comes to a place of where it then can't move. And that's what tends to happen. So go ahead and change to that first side because we didn't do this one on our first side. Make sure that your ball is far enough away that you don't hyperextend the knee. So roll down. This is where you want the ankle right below the knee, or maybe even slightly ahead. And then come up. Squeeze that block with those toes. Yeah, reach up. It's a point, and then come back down. We'll do it about 4 times. Come up, roll over, and come back. I can feel myself get to right that point where it's like, ooh, it's gonna cramp, but then it doesn't. If you get a cramp, you're stopping and coming right back out. We've got one more. Roll up and over, and then come back. And go ahead and just let the ball go. Yeah, right, that's what we say. Grab your block. Okay, up and down on our, for our calves and our ankles. So the ball of the foot's on the block, push down into the floor, trying to get the heel onto the floor. Yeah, and then come up and back down and come up and back down and come up and back down. Ooh, that stretch is so awesome. And then stay up and just roll through that ankle. Yeah. And then one more. Before we move it to, well, no, let's just move it to the other side and then we'll do the other one. Ball of the foot and reach. So notice we don't do a ton. You don't sit and do until, you don't have to do until you're fatigued. This class is designed to just move us, right? To move everything. And moving and breathing and paying attention. Couple more. Find that stretch. Ooh, it just feels so yummy. It's your best yummy. Go ahead and up we go and roll through those ankles, both directions. Just finding that range of motion. We want the range of motion. That's what we're looking for. Go ahead and you're going to pull this block back so that it's against the chair, warming up the back of the leg. Sometimes we do this a little bit later, but I wanted to do it now. So push your heel back into the block and engage the back of the thigh. You'll feel the calf, the foot, okay? You'll even maybe feel up into the rear end, the glute muscles. But just in fact, if you want, you can actually lift your foot just a tad. You don't have to wiggle, but you're pushing in, and that works it a little bit more. And then release, stretch it out. Sometimes that will cramp. Those hamstring muscles, those are the hardest things to work. Change to the other side. Those are the hardest things to work in a chair. When we're seated, the psoas muscle, we talked about this last week, is engaged. It's contracted, okay? But it's contracted in a manner that isn't working it. It's just tightening it. So when we do some of this other work, we want to engage all of the other legs. Yeah, so just pushing into that block. It might feel like the block's gonna slide off. It's okay. That happens. So you're just pushing into that block, finding that push. And then release. Stretch the leg out and wiggle through those hips. Okay, so we're working from the feet up today. We'll get to the shoulders in a sec. Bring the block back out. So we did these last week, maybe for your first time. We've done them online. And that is just this up and over. Up and over. Now, I want you to take this opposite leg and take it wide. Okay, the legs here, we're gonna make a little bit bigger motion. So pick it up, see if you can go wide. Take it wide. This, yeah, there you go. And up and back. And up and wide. And up and back. So not only is this working our hip flexor and particularly the psoas muscle, when we see if you can turn it in like this just a little as you go out to the side. Yeah, you're working also into that quad. Yeah. Okay. Burning in. Okay, good. And then pause, shake it out. Switch it to the other side. We're gonna do 2 rounds of this one today, not just one. This leg's going wide, okay? This one's coming up and over now. Watch, I'm not doing this with my body to lift. I'm trying to hold the body still and just lift the leg. One side is easier for me to do that than the other. Notice. See if you can come up with the knee leading the way. Back over. Up with the knee, yeah, there you go. And back over. And leading. It's so much nicer to have a body that I'm seeing. Just saying, I like it. She's really being really quiet today because I am going to buy a microphone. Is that Bernie?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then release. Oh, shake it out. Okay, coming back. Before we do it again, put it up as high as you can. First side. Plant the foot on this block. Come right to the very edge. Yeah, it's slightly turned out, the block, towards, yeah, there you go. Okay, now we're coming up. We're gonna go out and in, just a few times to warm up that psoas muscle. I had specific requests for psoas, so we're gonna spend some marvelous time doing that today. Hold it out, and you're gonna go forward, yeah, and back. Now when you go back, go ahead and round and tuck. Come up, there's the inhale, here's the exhale. We try to tie it all into our breath. Inhale back up, tuck the tailbone and round it back. Inhale up, exhale forward, inhale up, tuck and back. Good morning. Inhale up, exhale forward, inhale back, and tuck it under. Inhale up, exhale forward. Does that hurt when you do that one? You can feel that, right? Yeah. Inhale up, and exhale curl. Now we're gonna go up one more time. Forward one more time on this side, and then in this forward motion, try to move it wider and back in and wider. So not only when we move this way, because I'm supported, yes, I'm working the muscle, but I'm also finding like there's movement, deeper movement into the hip because I'm leaning forward. Come on. Okay, second lift. It's going up high. Out we go, and up. This one you're gonna feel a little quicker. And up, and over, up. Yep. Yep. And it starts to burn. Yeah, and I love those here that I can see are not doing this kind of stuff with their body.
It's better if you do that.
It's better if you do that. It's easier. Yeah, it is. Go ahead and stretch that out. Oh, now watch my foot. I'm turning it out to the side, and then I'm bringing it up, and I'm turning it in. That action is wonderful for right in here in this joint. So turn it out and turn it in. Turn it out. This is a range of motion, okay? Our range of motion, for the most part, is moving this way, okay? This is not moving this way. These are some of those actions that we forget that we're not doing them because we don't really think about it, but then you need to go get something like this. And the whole body moves and you feel a zing and you feel pain. So that's one of the reasons. Okay, second side, bringing it over. It's slightly turned out, okay? Foot comes up and on. First, we are just gonna go in and out, creating some range of motion. Pull your block a little further out. Yeah, yours is fine. Yeah, so just, trying to just wake it up, breathe. Range of motion, easy moving. If you've ever had physical therapy, it's or even a massage will do this. My kids laugh at me because I don't do massages a lot, but I'll do a yoga class and they'll say, how did the massage feel? And I'm like I did a yoga class. So I just really, anyway. So, okay, here we go. We're taking it wide. We're holding it there. Now we're doing our lean forward. Inhale up. Exhale, curl it back. Inhale up. Exhale, lean. Inhale up. Exhale, curl it back. Inhale. So you might ask, what does this do? Okay. This one, particularly here, pulls some space into that socket, into that hip socket. Here, reduces the space in the hip socket so that this femur bone, this thigh bone is going right into that socket. Here, we're compressing it. We come up, we breathe, we exhale, we curl, we create space because we're leaving our foot there. Okay, so inhale up and exhale. I start to feel this in my hips. Inhale and exhale. Now we're going to inhale and exhale and hold, okay? And do the little wiggles in and out, okay? So here I've got a compressed socket joint, right? And I'm requiring movement. So every muscle has a tendon. And when you're talking about the hips, the legs, the waistline, every muscle that's down here comes up and the tendon goes through that hip socket. Every muscle here attaches to a tendon that goes, most of them will come down through. And all of that is in there. And so when we don't have that space in those hip sockets, okay, then we compress that same tightening that we talked about. Okay, here we go. Up and over to the outside, up and back in. Trying not to move your body. Hey, if you're like, Debbie, I can't lift it that high without moving my body, then turn it down lower, okay? That's the key. Up and in and up and out, either way, just moving. You're gonna move until you are kind of like, oh, this is starting to really burn, okay? Maybe you say, I'm gonna do one more, and then you honor that, okay? So yeah, and release and stretch it out. Wiggle through that. Go ahead and turn it out the foot straight, turn it in, out and in. This is called a rotation, right? Okay, here's an external rotation of the hip, here's an internal rotation. All of these actions aid our hips in being more healthy, less tender, working all those. Breathe. Yeah. And then come back. Okay, pause for a moment. Notice your legs, your hips. Take some deep breaths. Letting that action really, that you're aware of it, you're present, you're feeling your body, okay? Take a couple more deep breaths because we're coming into the waistline. So, our glutes in a chair, the only way that you really can tighten them is to squeeze them. So if you just tighten them, you squeeze, you'll see me kind of lift up and back down. That's about all you can do from a seat position. You can, let's try this one. I think most of you can do, both of you can do this. Stay where you're at. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what's going on. Okay? You're going to be on the edge. See if you can take one of your legs, bend it underneath so that the knee is straight down. Yeah. Does that hurt your knee at all? Does it a little? Then we're not doing it. Never mind.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. Because the one thing that you can do is if you can turn this toe under and push back and squeeze. That's another one where you can work the glute, okay? You notice I said squeeze, to contract the muscle, okay? I am not like major gripping, right? But to contract the muscle, you've got to tighten. You feel as if you've got an ace bandage wrapped around that particular body part. And you're tightening, okay? And then release. Bring it out and shake it. You can feel that your glutes worked, yeah? Try the second side. I'll go around to the other side. On the edge. Notice I'm trying to keep my knee at that right angle. Is that okay? Okay, toes under. And then just tighten and release. Tighten and release. Tighten and release. We're gonna do it a few times. Just went off. Sorry, just went off that screen. Tighten and release. Tighten and release. Tighten. If you are seated and getting up and down and you spend a lot of time, this is invaluable because this tight and our glutes and the working of them totally determines how our low back feels. And release, shake it out, okay? So you can also feel the hamstring on that one, can't you? Okay, so both of those. That's probably the biggest challenge for me as a teacher in a chair is to find things that can work the legs, okay? So we've added a lot of that since we first started years ago. All right, let's do some twists. So the legs are gonna be firm. I do want you to take a block and put it, it's right above the knee. You can hold this knee. Try to just avoid the knee because it's a joint, okay? It doesn't have muscle, it's just got all those other things running through, right? So if you squeeze this and have a little bit of a lift, but you can also bring your hand to your thigh. This other one's going up with the shoulder and around, holding onto the chair. And we're just gonna twist that direction and then release and twist. So I'm not really letting go with my shoulder and my elbow and my hand. Those are all pulling back, but you can feel that there's a twist and then a release, a little twist and a release. I'm squeezing the block. The squeezing of the block prevents this, so my whole body turning, so that I really am twisting and release and twist and release. Inhaling and exhaling. Try to move with your breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more. Inhale, hold. Now here, we're going to lift the chest up, curl the chest and the back. lift, inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale, open, exhale down. One more, inhale, one more, curl, and then come back, release your hand, come forward. You work the shoulder, the rib cage, right? All those kind of things. So roll through those. And then pause and notice this side versus this side. You can feel that tingle of blood flow. Here we go. We have a second side. We don't have two sides, okay? Up and over with that shoulder. Twist and a little bit out of it. Twist and a little bit out. It's just a little bit of movement. My shoulders are barely moving. I can feel just this slightest little, back and forth movement. Back and forth movement. It feels much bigger than it looks, okay? If somebody sees you, you feel the movement, but they might not be able to see it, okay? And then hold. Here we go. Lengthen the chest up and curl it. Feel that stretch even here. Lengthen it up and curl it. Lengthen it up, squeezing that block and curl it. Inhale and exhale. Finding that give and take, that ebb and flow. Yeah. It's all throughout life. One more. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and release. Beautifully done. Okay. Roll through the hands. They are also getting that movement. And then grab your strap. Keep holding your block. Okay. We're going to do a little bit of twisting with this. Okay, the arms are going to be down. So here would be shoulder height. They're about 45-degree angle. They're not all the way down and they're not all the way out. They're right out here. Pull just a tad. That engages the arms. Try not to have the pull be here, but the pull the shoulders so that you're getting, you can also feel in the back, right underneath the shoulder blades are part of the work here. And then you're just going to twist. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, I want you to hold, exhale here. Now change up the breath. Inhale, inhale. Which way do you like better? Exhale, inhale, exhale. Hold here, inhale here, exhale, inhale here, exhale. Which do you like best? Inhale here, exhale. You like this one better? Inhale here, exhale, and release. Roll through those shoulders. So, this is just an amazing opportunity. Yeah, we're kidding. These guys are over here going, can we do some of this? Yes, we can. Holding on to the block, okay? Holding on to the chair, a thigh, it can just be whatever. Come up and reach. Oh, yeah. Now, remember, if we can get the hand behind the head and the elbow reach, we actually get a deeper stretch. That's just anatomically because the muscles are attached to the arm and the ribs. And then come back, go back over, and come back. Now, if you can't do that and you're here, totally fine, okay? Totally fine. If you can't even get the shoulder up and you're here, guess what? Totally fine. Yeah, so often I find people say, oh, I can't do that. Well, what can you do? Let's work with that. Right. It's not, and stop and roll through. Second side. Go up and over first if you can. Again, maybe one side, you've got this great, and the other side, you're like, I'm here. I can hardly lift that arm, okay? Hand behind the head, try the shoulder. I love this one because of what it does through the armpit and the triceps. And up. And I do feel a deeper stretch, and up. Maybe you're here. And up, maybe you're here. You're getting a side bend. You're moving with your breath. Okay, and then pause. Now, I don't know if we've done these before. So I want you to be gentle with your back, okay? Tingle in the fingers. Yeah. Almost all that tingling comes because something here in the spine, because that's where the nerve is. Every nerve is attached into the spinal column. There, when we get that tingle, is being pinched so that the nerve into the fingers, okay? I get it too, okay? But there's nothing wrong with pinching the nerve and coming out and pinching the nerve and coming out. So this next thing, it will go up over to one side, and then I'd like you to kind of round and roll. So if you're rounded, like curl here, and then if you need your hands on your thighs to support here, and then you end up in a curl here, and then you're gonna open. The arms can totally be down, or you can have them up, okay? It's kind of depending on you, but here. So what we're doing with the spine is we're gonna take and roll it around itself, okay? All right, give it a try. One side, round forward to the other side, and open it up, and then pause to that where it backs it off. Good. Let's go the other direction. Over here, roll it around, really lifting your belly. That's the place that sometimes could hurt, and then just open it back up and pause, take a breath. That's intense core work. Here we go again. Over to the side, around, over to the other side, and all the way up, back to the new side. That way, and around to this side, and slightly open it up, and breathe. Close your eyes. Take some breaths. Notice that we've got this tingle coming up our legs, all the way down past our waist and our ribs. Let's get our shoulders. Roll forward and up and back and down. Forward and up and back and down. Forward and up and back and down, and reverse it. Back and up and forward and down. Back and up. Forward and down. To me, this one's harder. Back, that back motion. Forward and down, and back and up, and forward and down, and then pause. Okay, I want you to take your block and, okay, we might have bellies that get in the way, that's okay. Come and just lean over your belly. Forearms are gonna be on your thighs. Yeah, just round through that back. We've worked that back, and now we're going to do kind of some opposing poses. Let your chin tuck so that your head can just hang here. Breathe, beautifully done. Trying to find that round. If you want, you can actually feel as if you've got a belt around your low rib cage, and it's pulling up and kind of back. There's just like a hook and eye attached to it, and there's a pull. If you push into feet, you can find that you can get a little deeper pull. This is how we get child's pose in a chair. And then put your hands on your thighs and come all the way up. So a pretty good stretch on the low back and down into the sacrum, okay? You can try it without the block. Go ahead and lean forward again. You can let the hands just hang. For me, I don't get near the back stretch there, but you still get a stretch. And that's totally fine as well.
I get more of a stretch.
You get more of a stretch? Okay, then that's where you hang.
Maybe I'm not.
Yeah, it's just a different place for the stretch. She's checking it out. Totally fine. I love that. You know that I love that. Okay, let's do, okay, I was laughing the other day. It's been a couple weeks. I was with my dad. This is how my dad walks. Sorry, Dad, you get my dad stories. Now that you're doing yoga, you get them if you get on. So he would walk and he would have little weights in his hands and he would go for a range of motion. I don't know if he set me up for all this, but here we go. Ready? It's like a backstroke. Just up and back and up and back and up and back. We lose what we don't use and stop here and reverse, back and up. Does that hurt shoulder more to go back and up? A little bit more of a stretch and back and up. Now again, if you can't do this, then maybe you're here, right? And release, second side. So when I would walk with my dad, and this didn't happen when I was young, it was probably more after college and when I was newly married and stuff and would walk. And he, he just didn't care what other people thought, which I loved. He was like, look, I need range of motion. So here I'm going, reverse that. Yeah, up and around, up and around. That range of motion, okay? I do want to do a shout out to him. I have my dad's stories, but guess what? He still plays pickleball, and he's really good. And you can change hands. Yeah, here we go, we're doing both of them. With one of Michelle in class is like, hey, I want to do both of those, now reverse it. You can feel that the shoulders are working, okay? But you can also feel the armpits and the rib cage, and then release. How long has it been since you've done that one? Yeah. I mean, even if we do an elliptical machine, it's here.
Yeah.
It's not up above, right? Okay.
Last time I swim.
I know. That's why we love swimming. That's true. But just know that if your range of motion is so that you're here, that's perfect because that will increase the more you move. So if that's, and maybe you can't even lift the arm and you're just barely getting the shoulder up. Okay, that's perfect. It's just always perfect if you're trying. That's the key. Take some deep breaths. So I still feel the neck needs some work, and I feel the need to stretch out the hamstrings. You have to know that I feel that all the time. So if you never do, it's okay. Okay, but let's do the neck first. Shoulder to ear to shoulder, roll forward, ear to other shoulder, and then lift the chin up. Keep going the same direction. You're going very slowly. When we work the neck, I don't know if you've ever had those little zings that come when we do a sudden movement down through our neck. That's nerve. Any kind of those zings is nerve. When we move slowly with range of motion, trying to find that full range of motion, we actually use more muscle, okay? Come to this side and then go forward. Of course, reversing, and then back, and then chin up. And then this side, find where the stretch is. We're just warming up here first. If you need to keep your eyes closed so that you don't get quite so dizzy, please do so. You might get a little lightheaded working. I know that I've got some friends that have the vertigo. I've had it. Okay, go ahead and end with your chin down towards the chest and just breathe. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. They're pulling down the back. Take some deep breaths into the back of that neck and then come up. Then I want you to turn about a 45-degree angle and tuck the chin again. That's the one that usually gets me. It's into this sternocleidomastoid muscle right here. Okay. It's a big, thick, ropey muscle that supports our head. Go ahead and bring the chin up. Come back through forward to about 45 and come down. Finding that length. Feeling that stretch. And come back up. Just hold your head normal and notice the neck. You can feel, go ahead and just look over a shoulder and look. I know that all of us at some time have had like a creak in our neck where you go to turn and you're like, oh, and your whole body has to turn. So let's work those, okay? Beautifully done. All right. Go ahead and take a stand. Find the back of your chair. So you guys don't need to move your chairs. Okay, the chairs we used last week were not as heavy as these, so we needed to put them on a mat. These shouldn't roll, these shouldn't slide. Okay, so holding on to the chair, you're just gonna stretch it back. You're going for length of the for just length in the spine. Where's your length? Bend those knees if you need to, because that's gonna help get longer. Our appendages can help our spine lengthen. Take some deep breaths. Walk your feet back in. Go ahead and just roll through those shoulders. Hold on to the chair again. Step back with the legs. Bend those knees. Come all the way back up. Roll through those shoulders. Okay. Couple more. Come back. Bend those knees. Now, before we add on a couple more, okay, we did this last week, just some little tiny squats down. Just little tiny, gentle, slow. This is the best way to work your glute.
Yeah.
Tighten your glute muscle. You can't do this as well on a chair. Okay, you just can't. Your rear end back, you're reaching it towards that back wall, and then go ahead and walk it up. So if you want more glute and legs, you just have to do that, okay? Inhale, roll through the shoulders, step it back, bend those knees, reach, come all the way back up. Inhale, exhale, reach, inhale. Iyengar taught, and he had this wall. And on the wall, he had all sorts of straps hooked to the wall that could take and help people, like with inversions and stretches, by you attach the straps to the walls, and then you'd hang on them. It was fabulous to go upside down. This, probably in this class, is the most upside down you might get, right, is here. But that stretch back in our spine, and then come all the way back up, okay? Now, turn, you can just turn and hold on to the chair, okay? I want you to bend. We're gonna see if we can do this, okay? We haven't done this in this class. Bend the knees, and you're just gonna use your hands, come down as low as the chair. See if you can do a hang right here. Hold on to the chair with one hand or with both hands. So you're just in a forward fold, yeah, and then come up, yeah. If you feel lightheaded when you come up, pause. Make sure that you drink water before and after class, okay? Try it again. Bend those knees. Use your hands on your thighs to help you come down. A forward fold is beneficial. You're letting the head just hang. Tuck your chin. And then come all the way up. This, why you think, why do we need to do this, Debbie? Do you ever drop something on the floor? Yeah. Now, most often, okay, when we drop something on the floor, if we're picking it up, we're using our rear end. So we bend our knees and come up, okay? This is different. Watch the spine. Go ahead and you can do it with me, but I'm doing it from the side. I'm bending, I'm coming down. I'm finding the hang so that my upper body is supported by my legs. And then I'm coming back up. Okay? Our spines are what keep us upright. Okay? Do a couple more. Bending those knees, coming down, holding on to something. Maybe it's a countertop, maybe it's the couch. Let yourself hang and take a couple breaths, and then slowly come back up. We're just gonna do one more. Come all the way down. Hold and breathe. Come all the way back up, and then bring your chair and sit. Okay. So that's something we are going to be adding in. I've just been kind of fiddling, and I just think that's something we're going to add in. Now, I promised through March, okay, there's a lot of people that have told me getting up and down off the chair and getting up and down on the floor is really hard. So we are ending class in our chair. You know Shavasana and would like, I didn't pull mats out, so if you want to grab a mat, totally do that. You'll want one on this floor. And you're welcome to go on the mat and your windshield wipers on the mat. Okay, if not, okay, I'll talk you through that. But what we're doing today is just in the chair, okay? Keep your block handy. And windshield wipers can just go this way. You're turning. Now, if you're on a blanket, you can kind of turn. It's that same twist we did. And then you're just gonna bring the legs back together and take them to the other side. Yeah, so that there's that twist. Yeah. We always want to end. Basically what this does is it kind of puts our body, our spine back, because we're going opposition. Okay, windshield wipers, okay, are, if you don't know what they are, reach out to me, but most of you do. Okay, so you're lying on your back and your legs are just going side to side. You're doing the same motion. Moving it back, walking it around. Okay, if you're in a chair that has arms on it, this isn't going to work. That sits at your kitchen table, right? That doesn't have any arms. It's called a side chair. I know this. And back we come. And moving, just finding that that kind of revolving. That's the word that I'm trying to get out of. Last one to this side. Okay. Coming back. And then coming, and you can use the blanket, you can use the block. I am gonna get a bolster. Do you want anything under your knees, Michelle?
Yeah, I can use my blanket or a bolster would be fine.
Is the bolster okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you don't have a bolster, they're beneficial. Hugger Mugger has them. You can order them online. Yeah, you might have to go a little longer. That'll do it. Good. Yeah, you won't.
Scar on my forehead?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so these bolsters, they're just gonna give you a little more support than just a block, okay, and that's the reason. Coming up and over as much as you can. Yeah, you're just stretching out the back. You're gonna let the arms, they can stay here. If they can go a little lower, great. Let the head just hang. Now, one of the things that in Shavasana for everything. So I actually am gonna I fiddled with this a little bit. I'll come help you in just a sec. Okay, maybe, if you totally do this, then maybe breathing's tough. But if you do here and let your chin, then you've got that whole spine supported. Yeah. Just kind of go ahead and fold over. How's that feel? Is that okay? Taking some deep breaths. I am going to turn the lights off. We have bodies and these lights are bright.
Thank you.
This class is designed to help us be able to move our bodies for years to come. I also bring just some yogic principles that have made a difference in my life. Some things that are so important. And today we talked about being present. When things happen that we don't like, we want to run. We want to numb ourselves so we don't feel, but we can't be present. if we're numbing ourselves. The two don't work synonymous. And so it's okay to feel. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to be discouraged, to be depressed, to be all of those things, angry, to feel like quitting. All of those are emotions we feel. If we numb them and never deal with them and never recognize that they are feelings, that they're a part of us, and we just feel that's not a feeling that I should have, so I'm not going to feel that. That's what brings on the anxiety, the increased depression. When we learn to deal with what we are feeling, living with it, breathing with it, we recognize, yep, that is how I feel, but I don't have to stay feeling that way. I can choose to change. And then we can go about making changes. Letting that breath be long and slow. And then pretty soon you get to a point where you maybe aren't even noticing the breath. You're letting the earth, the bolsters, support you. Releasing all tension. Start to deepen your breath. If you're forward folded like I am, there's such a wonderful inhale that expands those ribs. If you're on your back, there's a wonderful expansion that pulls the rib cage forward and up. And then slowly start to wiggle and move. And gently coming up. If you're on your back, you're working your way from your back to a side. So many people just pop up. Work onto your side, and then we've supported our spine for like 5 or 6 minutes, just supporting it. So let it go to the side and let your hands pull you back to a seat. You're welcome to stay on the floor. You're welcome to come back to your chair. But sit up tall. Okay? Notice what you've done. Maybe you want to wiggle through your shoulders and your neck and your back and your body. Maybe you want to take your legs wide and hips. Okay? Ooh, just feel the movement. Another way that you can do that windshield wipers that might be a little, is you can just do this action. It doesn't do as much. Okay? It's not as much for the spine, but I love what this feels like on my hips. Find some way today to just love on your body. Find some way that you just, this is what I love. This is what my body is asking for. If it's just this yoga class, fantastic. But maybe you even go a little further and kind of say, ooh, maybe it wants to take a walk because it's definitely sunny today. Go ahead and bring hands to the heart center. Namaste means I see the divinity, the goodness, the greatness, the light that's within each of us. I see it and I see it in you. I see it in myself and I see it in you, and I bow to that light. Namaste. Beautifully done. Alrighty, see you later.
We did it again.
We did it again.
Oh, it's so good, so good.
Yes.
We did that.
I know. Isn't that, you just finished it.